What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. There we go. I don't understand why it didn't work like this the first time, but let's talk. Let's talk. What is going on, Gabriel? How you guys doing? Like I said, sorry about that earlier one. I do not know what happened. I just don't understand. But it seems to be working right. So let's get in to this. Let's start talking. Let's start talking. Stephen Joyce, rumors. Here's Stefon Diggs want out. When does he not want out? Stefon Diggs always wants out, and of course, um, he's gonna be a hot commodity. He's a do-it-all receiver. I mean, he can do everything the Eagles would want him to do. Uh, what do you guys think? I'm about to talk about that in a little bit. Let some people filter in here real quick. We got 8 people in here. Paul Lagan, what is going on? Ricky Alonzo, how you doing? How you doing? Like I said, I want to get on here and talk about this free agency and this draft. Is everything good? Is it messing up again? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. All right, let's start reading some of these. There we go.
Daddy,
Hold on one second.
I was doing this thing.
I'm doing this. Go downstairs.
Look, watch.
Go ask mommy. Mommy.
You can do it.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Shut the door, please. All right, let's really jump into this. All right. So, Mayor Slap, what is going on? Brian Bennett, how you doing? Gene Pyle, I've been hearing you say no to Diggs. We about to get into this. Don't know why it's doing that. Okay, let's go. So here's my take on Diggs, and then we're going to get into some questions. Stefon Diggs is a great receiver. He can do it all. He can beat you down the field. I mean, he can get the short intermediate. He's a route running speed. He do everything. But with everything comes the little diva he has in him. And he does have a diva. For the last 2 years, ever since Case Keenum left, the whole time with Kirk Cousins. Maybe it's Kirk Cousins, maybe it's not. But the dude wants out. He wants out, then Kirk Cousins force feeds him the ball, and he gets happy. Then he wants out, then they feed him the ball, and he gets happy. Now, the contract he has, I think, is up to 2023. So he's tied in with whatever money he's getting through 2023. Of course, he can ask for a pay raise like Malcolm Jenkins did. But with all that talent is going to come a little bit of a diva. But could the Eagles manage it? Maybe, maybe not. But my biggest thing would be the fact that Minnesota showed no interest in getting rid of this guy. What would be the price tag that we got to pay for a guy like Stefon Diggs? The price tag would be most likely hefty when I talk trade value. So, I mean, Amari Cooper went for a first-round pick. Mohamed Sanu went for a second-round pick. The New England Patriots had to give up a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu, which we all know he's not worth a second-round pick. Not Mohamed Sanu, not this far in his career. So I don't know when it comes to that. Let's read some of these. I don't know why they're going different. Miroslav, bro, just imagine him playing aside of Jackson and Ward. Whoever we draft, I believe we be set for a couple years. Diggs is perfect for what Wentz need. Healthy, he's good, he's fast, and he got swag. I hear you, bro. True Blue, what is going on? Philly take RB. That's my boy growing another level, my guy. What is going on, RB? Like I said, dude does fire Sixers takes. So if you like the Sixers, he's gonna be doing Eagle content too. Check out my boy Philly Take with RB. Fire. Ricky Delonzo. The streaming is working. Yeah, I'm just going back. Let's get some of these. Philly Fan D. Has Diggs had injuries in the past? Great player. Nah, he hasn't been known for injury. The dude can stay on the field and he's productive. He's very productive. It's just what is the price going to be to get a guy from a team that don't want to let him go? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's been wanting out of Minnesota for like 2 years, maybe 3 years, but they always seem to work it out. And because they want to work it out, I think it's going to take a steep price tag in trade acquisitions, picks, players to try to get a guy from a team who doesn't really want to part ways with him. Who knows that Monday he's upset with the team. By Friday, he'll be catching balls and be okay. All right. Gabriel can't be a ball hog wide receiver in the NFL. I agree, especially with a team that utilizes tight ends as much as we do. The 12-man personnel and just the fact that his BFF is Zach Ertz, and he will target him on the crucial downs. Philly Fresh, bro, he don't like Cousins. He would love it here. I hear you. Gene Pyle, it will be a steep price to get him. That is what I'm talking about. Lone Revolver, what is going on, bro? How have you been? Diggs don't like being there. They don't want to target him, and y'all saw how they are treating him. Kevin Corrin, do the Eagles re-sign Nate Sudfeld? I am seeing rumors that Nate Sudfeld with the Giants and Patriots. I have seen them rumors too. I'm not sure if we're going to re-sign him. I do believe he's a guy who can get the job done for a little bit if Carson Wentz went out. But we see rumors that, we had the Joe Flacco rumor, which I'm not big on. We had the Marcus Mariota rumor. So, we do need to get a backup who can win a game or two if need be. As simple as that. Because I'm the biggest dude when it comes to saying Carson Wentz can hold his own and pretty much stay healthy for a season, which he did do all 16 games. Yes, he was not available in the playoffs. If he would have got hurt any other way, I would have been feeling some type of way. But a cheap shot is a cheap shot. It shouldn't be allowed. It's not allowed. It happened. It is what it is. But we do have to, scoop somebody up as a backup quarterback. Hopefully, we don't have to utilize that, though. But real quick to stay on Stefon Diggs before I jump off and answer some questions. I think the price tag would be steep. Now, if this guy's a free agent, it's different. Just throw money at him. You just throw money at him. But to get him away from a team like the Minnesota Vikings, who's already invested in him until 2023, they're going to play hardball. Because at the end of the day, I don't think Diggs will hold out. Remember, he skipped practices. He got fined a lot of money. I'm not going to say how much, but the Minnesota Vikings had fined him for a lot of money because he missed practices when he was throwing that tantrum and saying, I'm not going to play. Y'all got to get me the ball. So, they dealt with it. He gave them problems, and they catered to his needs to make him happy. Now he's not happy again. Maybe he wants fully out. Maybe he would be have a better attitude in Philly. Maybe. But like I said, remember, Amari Cooper, it took a first-round pick. Mohamed Sanu at the trade deadline last year. The New England Patriots, who don't like to give up their picks. They don't give up their picks for skill players. They paid a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu. Second round. What will it cost to get Stefon Diggs? People talk about let's go get him right away. Well, if they say first-round pick, are you still feeling the same type of way? He is a playmaker. I love him as a player. Just about his skills. Just his skills alone. I love him. I love him. Gamer veteran, go Birds, all day, every day. Philly Fresh, Alshon in a second, I'm in. Hey, if that's the case, yes, but I really don't see anybody trading for Alshon because he's going to be on IR until the middle of the season. Like, the earliest he can come off is the middle of the season. So you're talking, a hefty contract that they would have to acquire that contract with a guy who's not going to play for 8 games. And can you even move a guy who can't pass a physical? That Liz Frank is no joke. Look what it did to Cam Newton. Cam Newton's a quarterback with a Liz Frank. Who knows? Lone Revolver. Diggs will be happy here. He knows he will be playing with a much better quarterback. I agree 100%. Let you answer this question for me, guys, who want Stefon Diggs. And I'm not against it. Like I said, if Howie could make something happen, I'm all for talent on his team. But I think the asking price, I mean, do the Vikings part ways with him for a second round pick after seeing Mohamed Sanu go to the New England Patriots, the best coach who is smart with his picks for a second round pick? They're gonna let him go for a second? William Smith, yes, go get. All right, I hear you. Philly Fan D, grab Case Keenum. That would be a solid backup because, again, we got to think of backup. We can't get a superstar as a backup. You can't pay two quarterbacks. With that being said, solid quarterback who could get the job done if he needed to step in for a game or two is Case Keenum. Kevin Corinne, can your Philly video start Saturday, please? I'm going to try to get a Philly video out this Saturday just for you, bro. All right, Gabriel, the bigger question is, does Diggs be happy with Wentz and play for Philly? That is a question that, we won't be able to know the answer unless we pull the trigger, and by then it could be late. I do think he would be much more happier with Philadelphia because he got a quarterback who's a franchise guy. I don't think Minnesota believes in Kirk Cousins. I don't think if the organization don't believe in Kirk Cousins, how would the receivers do it? And he has to play that who do I throw to? Adam Thielen, Stefon Diggs. There's a lot. I'm not saying that Stefon Diggs is a crybaby or Terrell Owens or Odell Beckham or Antonio Brown. None of them guys. But what I will say is to pry him away from the Vikings, I think it's going to take It's going to take a lot. I think it's going to take a lot. Exotic Eagle, go Eagles. I think we should pick up Byron Jones. That is an option. I just read an article that he's looking around $16 million. That was my biggest fear with Byron Jones. When you got guys in the free agency like James Bradbury, even Logan Ryan, who I was like this on, you got other guys out there who can play corner, who will be a lot cheaper. If Byron Jones was that 13-ish, 12-ish million, I understand, but 16 million is pretty steep. 16 million, we're probably going to take him for 3 to 5 years. And then if it doesn't work out, we're just like, wow. So it's rough. It's real rough. But we do need to get a corner in the draft and in free agency. Free agency has to be as big as the draft this offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles. Mirror Slat, damn, Mike, I miss you, your last live. But I'm back for this one. Word, bro, word. Maya Ramos, I hear you. I hear you. E-Wing 609. How old is Diggs? I believe Diggs is only 26 years old, so he is young. He fits the mold to grow with Carson Wentz. I mean, he could easily grow with Carson Wentz, but would you want him to grow with Carson Wentz for a first-round pick? If I'm hearing reports, if the next week or so, if we're hearing reports, we can pry him away for something that's not a first, then like I said, when it comes to talent and talent alone, I think the kid is nice. I think he's nice. He can catch a deep ball. He can run. He can do anything you want when it comes to the route tree. I believe he would be helpful for this team. Just the wide receivers around him and everything. But what is the stake? See, when you talk about acquiring a talent like that from a team who's heavily invested in him, it's not a walk in the park. They're not gonna just be like, all right, here you go. Give me a second-round pick or a third-round pick. It's not as easy as that. Now, Howie is, he's the GOAT when it comes to how about this, how about that, blah, blah, blah. But who knows? All right, let me get to some of these questions real quick. Gene P said 26. E-Wing 609 said get Perriman. I like Perriman. I think he's a low risk when it comes to money. I don't think it's going to cost that much money to get a guy like Brashad Perriman, but I do believe there's upside in Perriman. Now, he has not been consistent since he's been in the NFL. He hasn't. I mean, the dude's 4 years career has been anything but consistent. But these last 4 or 5 games in the NFL 2019 season, he balled out. Why? No Mike Evans, No Chris Godwin. He got the start. I mean, he had, I think, 3 100-yard games in the last 4 games and 5 touchdowns. But again, high risk because he could injuries and just inconsistencies plagued his career. But I think we can get him on the low. All right, let's do this. Michael Bernardo, hey, you're back. Yeah, my bad. Like I said, I didn't know what was going on with the screen. Let's get to some of these questions. Joe Pyle, I'm down with Pyramid and drafts one. I hear you, bro. And I hear your take on Stefon Diggs, just the fact that you don't think price-wise. And I know you also are a believer that he'd be more of a diva and want the ball too much. But, I mean, the talent is there. Brian Bennett, any chance at trading for Mike Evans? I mean, there has been no media talk about it, but I mean, this is what Howie Roseman does. I mean, every single day he probably is talking to teams. You got to think that these GMs are close knit. They talk to each other, and just because we're not hearing something, it's more like he's probably inquiring about anybody and everybody. I think that's what Howie does. But at the end of the day, he might call someone and say, "Yo, is Mike Evans on the table?" And they're like, "Nah, not really." But he's still gonna say, "Well, if he was, I'll be willing to do this, that, and the third." And they're like, "All right, he's not on the table," but they keep that in the back of their heads in case one day something happens. Yo, Howie, you still down? That's how these things work. But they don't let these players know that they're being talked about, and it's different if someone is putting it out there that we're taking calls on a player, then the player feels like, what? You're doing this to me? But, I mean, open ears are going to be forever. But I doubt we could pry him away because, I mean, who knows? With Chris Godwin possibly taking over the number 1 over there, who knows? But that's a long shot to say the least. Philly take with RB, lots of fire, my boy. I have 2 things. 1, this is a very unpopular opinion to most, but I really think Kirk Cousins is Case Keenum, except the Vikings gave him all that money. Both fold under pressure. I agree 100%. Kirk Cousins had like a trend that he kind of broke when he beat the Saints in the playoffs, but I think on like Monday night games or primetime games or I think any type of game that was like primetime TV, he had the onlyest horrible record. It was like 5-23. Now I'm just throwing them numbers out there, but he was really bad on them prime times. Sunday night, Monday night, even maybe at 4 o'clock, America's Game of the Week. He was horrible in them. Michael Bernardo, Mike, what we going to do at linebacker? You think we should draft or look free agency? I think you automatically got to pull somebody out of free agency. Now, the best name and the best fit right now is Corey Littleton. He's kind of like a Jordan Hicks in the fact that Corey Littleton, although I didn't think he could play the run as good as when I was looking tape on him, he can play the run pretty good, but he's a cover linebacker too. So he'll be able to help out in the middle, these underneath passes, how our cornerbacks get beat on these slants. He'll help there. He'll help stop tight ends. Corey Littleton will be a great pickup. You got guys like Joe Sherbert, or however you say his last name as well. Now, these guys are going to be around that Nigel Bradham money, what he was going to be getting, like 7 to 10 million. So I'm not sure the Eagles will do that, but we do have to get, even if it's a guy like, I think his name is Hewitt or a Dolphins guy who was playing with Matt Burke, our new D-line coach. You got to get somebody from free agency just to have a veteran presence there. But I do believe that 3rd-ish to 4th round draft round will have some good linebackers left that we can take. Again, you've seen the thumbnail. We look wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker. Linebacker just jumps back up into the top. Because think about the whole 2019 season. Zach Brown, I think it was. Zach Brown had him, let him go. Now you're talking about Nigel Bradham, let go. You're talking about Camus Grugier-Hill, possibly let go if we don't re-sign him in free agency. So there's a lot of things, up in the air at linebacker, which brings that up. And before Nigel Bradham was let go, I kind of suspected it. That's why I did a video about the linebackers in the 3rd round, because we know how Eagle fans are thinking. Me too. We need a receiver or a corner in the 1st or 2nd, maybe even a safety, just somebody in the secondary and or a playmaker at the receiver spot. So We got 2 third-round picks. We got 3 fourth-round picks. If we could steal a Troy Dye in the 3rd round, I love him out of Oregon. You know what I mean? Now there's better linebackers, Isaiah Simmons. There's that Queen guy. They're great linebackers, but you're going to have to spend a 1st or a 2nd round pick. And I don't know if the Eagles will do that. Maybe it bumps up on their priority list now, but I think you attack free agency and the draft when it comes out to linebacker. Philly take with RB. I would love the Eagles to go out and make a big splash like Diggs, but we need to fill all the little holes too. Agreed. We need some playmakers who can fill big holes that have existed for quite some time. Yeah, I mean, we can't just go out there and get that one splash playmaker and leave certain holes open. I mean, again, 2017-18 season, the way we won the Super Bowl is because we had depth. When people went down, other guys stepped in and did what they needed to do. Guys like, it'd be crucial to keep a guy like a Boston Scott who could come in and play and get some work. Greg Ward Jr., what he was able to come in off the practice squad and do as pretty much our #1 wide receiver. Just imagine when this guy is in the slot and you have Deshaun Jackson over here, somebody else over there, and he's now only a slot, he's going to be even better. Kevin Coring, can you do a video on the running backs out of Boston College, please? People keep telling me about some of them guys. I'm gonna look into them, definitely. Saturday, the Phillies start spring training. Yeah, the Phillies, they always acquire this talent. They always have high expectations. I'm hoping the pitching staff is much better. Adding Wheeler, hopefully Aaron Nola goes back to not last year, but the year before when we thought he could be a possible ace because he didn't play as good last year. So I'm still thinking big things that can happen with the Philadelphia Phillies. Gabriel, hey Mike, do you think the first 3 picks of the Eagles should be all defensive players? I mean, that's tough. I do believe we need to get defensive players in that first 3 picks. I'm thinking 2 out of the 3 need to be on defense, but I do believe wide receiver has to be hit in either 1 or 2. So I'm thinking, let's just say, if for some reason we can trade up and get Henry Ruggs, which is still falling to us on mock drafts, but I do not believe he will pass the Denver Broncos at number 15. Now, real quick, I'm going to do a video on this because I've been doing some research about what the Philadelphia Eagles have been doing the last, I think I'm gonna say how far I go back, 8 years. The last 8 years, not including the Chip Kelly draft because, yeah. Anyways, all Howie Roseman drafts, how many times we traded up. And I'm not talking about trading up like how we did for Carson Wentz. That is one of them, though. But when we traded up big time, I'm talking going from like 21 to like 17 or 17 to 13, just trading up a couple spots. And that's our forte. That's what we do. So get up to like 15, 14, 16, 17, depending on where Ruggs is. He will do so much for this football team. But to answer that question, I think out of these 3 first picks, 1 has to be offense and the other 2 have to be defense. And I'm not sure what order anymore. At one time, I thought it was 1 wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker. Then I thought it was cornerback, wide receiver, linebacker. And now it's getting close to where I don't know. And we have to do something that's going to work for this team. And I think once it comes down to the draft or as we get closer and we really start to see what teams really want, they're starting to leak it out there a little bit, we'll know what we got to do. And at the end of the day, we know how deep this wide receiver class is. We might be able to get a very good wide receiver in the 2nd round and might have to make a splash on defense in the 1st round. It depends on who's there because we know the very big keys positions we need. So at that point, it's best player available. If you think you can get someone on the defensive side in the 1st round who will not have no one even close to him in that position, like let's just say this guy is a cornerback who's really good, and after him, the 2nd round, all the cornerbacks tail off. Then you got to go get him because wide receiver is not going to tail off as much. So it's real iffy. But 10 picks, lots of cash. We got to make this offseason work. We got to. Abel Torres. Eagles should trade for Mike Evans. Hey, I would love that, to be honest. I would love that. Exotic Eagle, do you think we should pick up TJ McDonald? Mm, he's a solid tight end. I mean, he did work with Pittsburgh. I forgot who he went to after Pittsburgh. I forgot who he played for right after Pittsburgh. But having Zach Ertz, having Dallas Goedert, hopefully Joshua Perkins gets some run, because Josh Perkins did a great job playing the slot receiver at times when we were desperate. That game where all our receivers were down and we almost had to throw Josh McCown in. And like I said, 12 personnel. The Eagles love running that because you get Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert on the field at the same time. It's a mismatch. One of them is going to get D'd by a safety. The other one's going to get D'd by a slot or a linebacker. You can't stop that. Mayor Slat, should we get the Cardinals runner back Drake to be our fourth or third, or should we draft one? I'm thinking, once it gets down to that fourth, we got 3 fourth-round picks. We might pull the trigger on a runner back. I'm hoping we can wait. Like I said, Jordan Howard is weird, because if you sign Jordan Howard before something, we lose one of our compensatory picks, or we lose a pick or something along them lines. So I think we're going to let him test something and try to get him back when it's all said and done, but it might be rough. He will have to take a discount. I don't think we're not going to pay him big money with Miles Sanders being that guy. Boston Scott showing what he can do, but we do need a 3rd and 2, hand the ball at the middle, go get the yardage. We need that kind of guy on this team. You saw what LeGarrette Blount was able to do on that Super Bowl run. You saw what Ajayi was able to do on that Super Bowl run. Then you mixed in a guy like Corey Clement, who was your change of pace back. So you need Miles Sanders to do Miles Sanders type things, because he's LaShawn McCoy 2.0. I really think he could be like that. But you also need that guy. Go ahead and get that dirty work. Get that dirty work real quick. Kevin Corrin, Aaron Nola is going to be the opening day starter on March 26th in Miami. Right now, he's still our best pitcher. He's still our best pitcher. Brian Bennett, what do we do with Jason Peters? This is what I would do with Jason Peters. Love the guy. Definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame. One of the best left tackles. Well, Hall of Famer, straight Hall of Famer. But here it is. I think he's 38 years old. And because he's a free agent, what can you possibly do? Like, you can't sign him for more than a year because he's 38. He can't stay healthy. So, do you spend money? Like, okay, does he think when a guy's a Hall of Famer and you have respect for him, it's hard to go to him and say, listen, you're a free agent. We're going to give you blah, blah, blah money, which is what I'm trying to say, little money, almost a backup player money. He's going to say, I don't want that. And you want to put respect on his name, so it's hard to ask him that. Plus, Andre Dillard, we moved up in the draft to get him. When he was able to start on his side, the side that he's supposed to be on, he played great. I think we're going to slow down his production if we bring back Jason Peters. Now, if Jason Peters said, listen, I love Philly. I love what you guys did for me. I don't want y'all to pay me. Just give me a really team-friendly deal. I'll be a backup player. If Andre Dillard gets hurt, let me come in. But it's this kid's time to shine. I want to mold him. Then I will do that. But that's like all the stars lining up. I don't think he'll do that. And so in that case, we have to part ways with Jason Peters, because we can't pay a 38-year-old player decent money for 1 year for him to play half the season and take away from our first-round trade-up pick. So I love JP, but it's time. It's time. You know what I mean? Angry Birds. You from Delco or the city? I'm actually right outside Philadelphia. I'm about 45, 50 minutes outside of Philadelphia. So it takes me about 50 minutes to get to the stadium, depending on traffic or whatnot. But yeah, I'm in PA though. Don't forget, we still have Holyfield as a number 3 backup, whether or not we keep Jordan Howard. Correct. When we signed Holyfield, I actually did a video on that because I was amazed at how he played. I think he played for the Georgia Bulldogs, if I'm not mistaken. I like his style of running, and I like what Doug Peterson said. Doug Peterson pretty much said that he had his eye on this guy in the draft. They interviewed him. A lot of things were going well. I forgot exactly what occurred for him not to get looked at. We took Miles Sanders as well. And, but at the end of the day, I think he could be utilized as that Jordan Howard replacement if everything goes south with Jordan Howard. You do need a guy who can go up the middle. We lost. There's no such thing as fullbacks no more. I mean, the 49ers still have it. They got Juszczyk, who's a fullback. But fullbacks is a lost art. But at the end of the day, you need a big dude who's going to go get that 1 yard. Even though QB sneaks, Carson Wentz is dirty at it. Mere Slat, I heard we getting 17 games now. That's a possibility. It's a possibility. Eagles champs won. Do you want Stefon Diggs? I talked about him early. I'll make it short and sweet, but here's my take on Stefon Diggs. I think Stefon Diggs is a great wide receiver. I think he can do everything when it comes to the route tree. He can go deep. We saw that. 3 touchdowns, 167 yards he threw down on the Eagles last year. I'm not going to forget that. Like I said, he has everything in his repertoire, in his bag. He can do it all. But here's my thing. And it's not even the diva. I know a lot of people are worried about the diva. Maybe it concerns me a little bit. But my biggest concern is he's not a free agent. So what would we give Minnesota to get him? Remember, Amari Cooper costed a first-round pick. Mohamed Sanu from the Atlanta Falcons costed the New England Patriots a second-round pick to get Mohamed Sanu. For half a year, for half the season. At the trade deadline, it costed them a second-round pick. So with Minnesota catering to Diggs, this ain't the first time that he won it out of Minnesota. He's won it out of Minnesota 2 or 3 times. And every time they do that, Cousin throws him the ball, he gets happy, they go about their business. Minnesota's organization up top wants to keep him. So he keeps crying, he wants out. They don't want to get rid of him. They keep trying to cater to him. He still has on his deal all the way up to 2023. They're going to say, okay, you guys want him. You guys got to pay a steep tag because we don't want to get rid of him. And we're not going to just cater to him. So pay us. And so what would we give up? We can't do something like a 3rd round pick. Like, of course, that would be lovely. But it's not as easy as that. So what would be the asking price? See, the rumors are fresh. And I love Stefon Diggs. I think he's a great player on the field. I think he's fantastic. But what would be the asking prices? That's where we have to get into. Because a first-round pick, I can't. I mean, I'm not saying he's not first-round wide receiver talent. He is, but I can't. I just can't. Kevin Curran, what are your thoughts on the 5th spot in the Philly starting rotation? Does Spencer Howard make the team out of camp? Have another starter from the minors make it, or what? I think Spencer can do it. The 5th spot is going to be rough. I think that 5th spot will be getting changed all the time throughout the start of the season. You know what I mean? I'm curious to see how our bullpen is going to be as well, because I love the addition of Wheeler. I like getting Didi Gregorius, shortstop, I believe he is. So I like the ads. Bryce Harper got to be Bryce Harper now. He wasn't Bryce Harper last year. I don't know what happened there, but pitching. You can't win in this league without pitching. Why do you think the New York Yankees went over there and acquired Garrett Cole? You know what I'm saying? Gabriel, Dallas got burned with that trade for Cooper. Exactly. See, that's the thing. If you trade a first-round pick, you better pay the guy. This is the thing. This is why if Dallas don't pay Amari Cooper, they've really lost out. They gave up a first-round pick. When you spend a first-round pick on any player, any position, you have that player for like 4 years. Then you got a 5th-year player option, all this stuff. So guess what? Yeah, first-round picks make decent money at their position, but they're not getting paid top dollar. They're not. So if you get a guy in your first round and he's productive right away, you're getting like 3 to 4 to 5 years of production at a top level at a cheaper price. They paid their first-round pick for Amari Cooper, and now it's right around that time they got to pay him. If they don't pay him and he does walk, Well, you just gave up your first round pick for a rental. A rental. When you give your first round pick for anybody, any position, you better talk to that player prior and say, listen, we're going to work it out long term, because you can't let your first round pick go a year and a half later. It's just crazy. But I would love to see him go from the Cowboys. Gene Pyle, Vikings will not trade him in the same conference. That makes sense too. They might want to get him to the AFC, especially how the Eagles keep, the Eagles are going to be in there, an obstacle that they got to climb to get to where they want. So trade him to the Eagles. Then the Vikings, say Adam Thielen's starting to ball out. He's starting to ball out. So the Minnesota Vikings see us in a divisional round, and the dude lights them up. They gonna be feeling some type of way. A lot of times, like Gene said, they want to get them not out of the division. They want to get them out of the conference, because they do not want that person to come back and bite them. They might keep them in the conference if they trade them to a team that's not going nowhere. Like, let's think of a team in the NFC that's trash. The Giants. No, I'm just kidding. They are though, but you trade them to a bad team knowing that they're not going to be in the playoffs, most likely to interfere with your goals. But the Eagles, we gonna be in the playoffs. Playoffs? We talking playoffs? I'm just kidding. Elijah Throck, the Rock Morton. I'd give a first round for Devontae Adams in the Packers. That boy right there can ball. Devontae Adams is a stud. People slack on him when they start naming the top receivers in the game. You got the Michael Thomases, the DeAndre Hopkins. Who else we got? You can even go as far as Julio. Oh yeah, what am I saying? Julio Jones. You got other guys. Devontae Adams is right there. Devontae Adams he's not better than them three. I still will prefer them three over him, but Devontae Adams is a stud. But I don't think discount double check Aaron Rodgers. He ain't allowing that. I don't think he's allowing that. Kevin Coleman, what about the Rangers? Suarez, Cole, Irvin, Damian Jones for the fifth spot in the Phillies rotation. That's tough. I'm going to have these answers for you, though, come Saturday, because I'm probably going to do a quick Phillies stardom video as well. Hey, listen, we got 35 people in this chat real quick. Let me know. Smash that like button real quick. It's simple. You don't even have to get out of the thing. You just click off the chat, click that thumbs up, come back to the chat. That's what's up if you can do that right quick. It's something simple. It's something light. But we got 36 people in here. Throw some questions out. We want to talk some more. I want to talk about, like I said, free agency. On the thumbnail, we have wide receivers. We have linebackers. We have cornerbacks, safeties, and where it says live is defensive ends. Now, defensive ends at now is probably our least of our concerns because of the holes we got. But the pass rush is important. A solid pass rush will help the secondary, will help every other position. We won the Super Bowl with poor cornerback play, but they looked good at times because the pass rush was there. So that right there can help this team out. And the Eagles always been a team that's been built like that. They were always built tough offensive line, tough defensive line, and that's how you get it done. It makes the wide receivers look better when you got all the time in the world to throw the ball. And it makes the secondary look better when they only got 2.5, 3 seconds to throw the ball. Simple. No cornerback in the world can cover for 5, 6, 7 seconds. I mean, it's impossible. But I think with the amount of money now we're going to go into free agency with and all these draft picks, I think we can really shore up a lot of these holes. I do believe, though, Malcolm Jenkins is 31 years old. You heard my whole spiel about Nigel Bradham being 31. I love him to death, but 31, almost worth $10 million at that position, only playing 12 games last year, not being able to stay healthy. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Sorry, bro. I'm sorry. But Malcolm Jenkins, let me just say this. The dude played in the box. The dude plays safety. He guards linebacker, tight ends. He does it all. He blitzes the passer. I mean, this dude does it all. I'm going to put up a stat in one of my next video. I think it has, you're talking about Tyrann Mathieu, Kareem Jackson, I forgot the other safety's name, but all these players who get paid 12, 13 million, Malcolm Jenkins is right fitting in them when it comes to stats. Now, early in that really struggle-ish secondary when Rasul Douglas, that Minnesota Vikings Dallas Cowboys game, now Jenkins played a little bit suspect in them games, but the whole secondary, the whole communication for them was off. It was off. I'm definitely for getting younger. I know we got to get younger, but I'm telling you, Malcolm Jenkins, you got to work something out. You got to make that a priority to just fix what it is. I think he's getting paid, what, 7 or 8 million? Bump him up to 10, 11 million. It's not no long-term deal where it's going to be like 10, 11, 12 million for the next year and the year after that and the year after. No, 1 or 2 more years. Get 1 year, this year coming up, he might make 10. The next one, 10 and a half. I don't know. But they got to work something out where it's not going to kill us money-wise, even though we got money. But we got spots we have to spend this money. But Malcolm Jenkins, the leader of the defense, does so much. And guess what? Nigel Bradham was 31 and missed 4 games. This guy's 31 and hasn't missed a snap. That's the difference right there, too. Part of the reason why you say you can't bring back a player because he's too old is because when you're old, you miss time. This guy is old, but does not miss time. So I'm cool with it. Mark Major, if we could wake up and never get a new defensive... If we could wake up and get a new defensive coordinator, who would you select? You're talking about anyone that's out there or someone who's available, like you're talking about any D coordinator or people available. Let me know so I can, see what I can say. Kevin Curran, what are your thoughts on Zach Eflin? I think he's a solid pitcher. I think he's solid. But right now, I think it's going to be Nola's number 1, then Wheeler, and then Eflin. Exotic Eagle, AJ Green, Gene Bio, no AJ Green. True BLQ, MJ, Iron Man. 100% Malcolm Jenkins is Iron Man. I love it. Exotic Eagle, here's my thing on AJ Green. He's going to want some decent money because he knows he still can play possibly at a superstar level. And so the risk is you pay the guy a decent amount of money and he goes out there and gets hurt because he's coming off an injury that is something you got to say, whoa, 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 whoa. Now, he can come out and play for a team and be good. And AJ Green, once upon a time, was a top wide receiver in the game. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, if he would take like a really cheap deal because it's like I got a pit deal, maybe. But I think with Brashad Perriman being out there cheap and has upside, this dude, man, Robbie Anderson's there too. But look at this. Brashad Perriman, when you hear the name, it's not cute. I mean, it's not sexy name. It's not a name that's like, wow, yo, he's about to do, AJ Green still got a really top name. His name, AJ Green, I remember what he did with the Bengals. Remember, because he's been in the league for almost 10 years. So AJ Green, once upon a time, was a really good wide receiver. Just can't do it. But Brashad Perriman, like I said, this guy got the start for the last 4 or 5 games. Got the start because of no Mike Evans and no Chris Godwin. And my gosh, 4 games, 3 of these games, over 100 yards in all 3 games. Out of 4 games, he had 5 touchdowns. Just go watch the highlights of Tampa Bay's last 3 games. Just whoever, I forgot all who they played. One was against the Falcons. Just look, Brashad Perriman, deep, short, intermediate, catch wide receiver screens and taking it. He was a 4-3 guy coming out. Now, consistency is a problem, but that's why I believe we can sign him for a cheap deal. And if it doesn't work out, it's not like we're losing big dollars. But the dude is I like the upside. There's risk there, no doubt about it. The safe play would be Robbie Anderson because he has upside and he's been consistent. Now, I think a guy like Brashad Perriman's upside is a little bit more than Robbie Anderson. But Robbie Anderson is way more consistent and reliable and durable. So that's probably the number 1 dude right quick. Kara Poole, what is going on? Kevin Corrin, how do you think Ranger... Oh, we already did that one. Cash Face, what is going on, Cash Face? How have you been? I haven't seen you in a minute. What's going on with you? So, like I said, with losing Nigel Bradham, the Eagles really got to figure something out when it comes to, not just the linebacker position, because now you're pressed more to really get something done with Malcolm Jenkins. Now you got to really figure out the Malcolm Jenkins situation. You got to think long and hard. Do we sign back Ronnie McLeod or let him go? Now, if he could take a cheap, friendly deal, maybe. But I think Ronnie McLeod is at his area where he wants to get that long-term, safety net deal, and I don't think the Eagles want to give it to him. Like I said, there's a lot of good players. There's top-notch linebackers in the draft. They got a guy like Grant Delpit. He's a great safety, but you're going to have to take him with your number one pick. No way he's going to fall into the second. So when you talk about all these great position players in the draft, they're all going to be having to be used. You're all going to have to use your first round pick to acquire these guys. You're not going to get Grant Delpit in the second. You're not going to get the top linebacker, I think Zach Bow or whatever his name is, in the second, or Isaiah Simmons possibly in the second. You're not going to get these guys in the second and third. So that's where you got to figure out, what are we going to do at that position. And like I said, the draft is very important with these 10 picks, but free agency is right behind it, because we do need to. I mean, you think free agency, you think more old. No, there's a lot of young players, 26, 27, some 25-year-olds who are available in this free agency. Linebackers, wide receivers, and cornerbacks. Like I said, with the money we have in free agency and the picks we have, we can double dip. You can get a wide receiver in free agency and a draft. You don't have to pick one. You can get a cornerback in free agency and a draft. You don't have to pick which one. Same with linebacker. These positions, because it would be different if we just need to add a little depth to it. If you got to add depth to a position, then you just draft it or just pick it from free agency. We need more than depth. We need starting corners. We need linebackers. We need starting receivers. We got D-Jacks, I know, but we still need another guy to stand out there. I'm not giving up fully on Arcega Whiteside, but there was nothing he did last year that made me think he's going to turn it around. It might be a long process. So we got a lot of holes, but I can see the Eagles going for a safety early in the draft. I can see the Eagles doing a lot on defense in the draft, because that might be our biggest holes. Because Carson Wentz did get to the playoffs with no name wide receivers. Now you get Deshaun Jackson back, you add a guy in free agency or in the first, second round of the draft. Boom, he got weapons. The offense is going to be easier to fix than the defense is. Let's put it that way. Let's get to some of these questions right quick. Texas Eagle, what is going on, bro? How have you been? Joe Pyle, build defense through free agency and offense through the draft. I agree, and I hear Philly 500 say that all the time, because it's much easier for an offensive player to get on the field earlier than a defensive player. I believe that. I think that's true. But hand in hand, they're going to help each other out. D-Block 11X, what is going on, bro? How have you been? Good to see you in the live. Greek Warrior 5373, what is going on? Linebacker and safety should be done. Linebacker and safety should be done in the draft. So you want to get them two positions in the draft, you're saying. Texas Eagle, if Ruggs is not there, I take Delpit. Try to sign a linebacker like the guy from Green Bay. There will be quality wide receiver later. Yes, wide receiver might fall. There might be quality wide receivers even in the fourth round. You got Michael Pittman, who's probably going to be there second, third, or fourth. You got Denzel Mims, who's going to be there. Some guy named Tyler Johnson, I believe, from Minnesota. You got a lot of quality wide receivers who will be there later. Now, you got your CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, automatically going in the first. I don't know where, but they're going in the first. Then you got guys like T. Higgins, Jeff Jefferson, who possibly can go late first, early second. Oh, and Laviska Shenault. So you got T. Higgins, Jeff Jefferson, Laviska Shenault. These guys can possibly go late first, early second. And then you guys got then you got the guys like Jalen Reagor, KJ Hamler, Brandon Ayuk, who will go middle second, late second. Then you got guys like Denzel Mims, um, Michael Pittman, KJ Hill. These guys will go early third to late third. So you see, it's deep. You got your early first three. You got your late first, early second three. You got your middle three in the second. You got your middle third. Like, you got like three players, early first, early second, early and late third. There's just a catchphrase. What linebackers are free agents? How he won't even replace Bradham. He's just going to rock with what he has. Shaking my head. I think we're going to sign somebody in free agency. The best fit and probably the biggest splash would be Corey Littleton from the Rams. The dude is a cover linebacker, so he can cover the tight ends. He can, he's a flyer, so he can fly side to side. I thought his run defense was kind of suspect. I watched more tape on him, and he's actually decent at run defense, but he's a cover linebacker. He would be the best fit and, the best splash. But you got guys like I forgot the guy from Green Bay. He's pretty good. You got a guy from the Dolphins who's not that great, but he might be better than some of the young guys we got. You got a veteran presence who's a veteran but not too old. But I also think around that fourth round pick, you can splash with a linebacker in the draft still. But catchphrase, I hope to God we do something at linebacker because, again, even Kamu Grugier-Hill, he's okay. He's a free agent. Who knows if we'll get him back? So T.J. Edwards, I don't believe he's ready. He showed flashes of good linebacker play, but I don't think he's ready to take that role, that Nigel Bradham role. Greek War, I'm a Justin Jefferson fan for the number 1 or Grant Delpit. Yeah. See, again, we are 21st pick of the 2020 draft. So what is 21? That's kind of late first round. And I said he's part of that late first round pick. Laviska Shenault, Jeff Jefferson, and T. Higgins. They're going to be the late first round, early second round group. Like I said, it's going to be funny, but watch. They're going to go in groups. Like I said, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Ruggs, early first, middle first. Then the second three I just said, late first, early second. Then KJ Hamler, Reagor, and, I kind of forgot. But, yeah, they're going to go in groups all the way to the fourth. They're going to be good wide receivers in the fourth round. Texas oh, no. Yeah, I got you, Texas Eagle. I read Ruggs. I know you said Riggs, but it's cool. Okay, let's see. Ayuk, yeah, Ayuk is good. Dang, I don't even know where I was. Elijah the Rock Morton, is there a chance the Eagles don't sign Malcolm Jenkins? My bad, guys. Yes, there is a chance that they don't sign Malcolm Jenkins. Again, Howie Roseman said about getting younger. He said about getting younger, so there's a chance that they just say, you know what, you're 31 years old, you want more money. Well, I don't know if we can meet you there. And Malcolm Jenkins is like, all right, listen, I could have held out last year. I didn't. I gave you guys a class act and played with the scrubness we had in the early part of the season. So we got to go our own ways. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Eagles will fix Malcolm Jenkins. Again, they're not going to make him be the highest paid safety, but I think they're going to get the job done. They're going to probably sell around 10 to 12 million. I think he's at like 7 to 8 million now. Between 9 and 12, somewhere along that number, he'll take it. I hope so. I think Malcolm Jenkins still can play. 31 years old. I don't care age when you do one or two things. If you're old and you're getting hurt, well, that's why you're getting hurt. But when you're durable and you play every single snap and look at his stats, he's up there with Tyrann Matthews, Kareem Jackson, all these guys. I'm going to let him rock out. Okay, let's get to this. Mark Major, Grant Delpit would be a great pick. I agree. I like that safety. We're really considering him, depending how everything falls into first. You know, we don't get Ruggs. You know, we feel like there's a receiver in the late second, you know, that we can get. Might have to pull the trigger on him. I keep forgetting where I'm at. That's why I'm taking long to do these. It's acting stupid. Gabriel, do you think Dak will get his money or will he will walk? I think at the end of the day, the Cowboys will pay him. They're going to let someone like a Byron Jones or a Amari Cooper walk before Dak. They're going to try to keep Cooper. I heard that stuff LB was saying about Emmitt Smith, you know, putting it out there trying to get Dak to get cheaper. I think they're going to pay him. And I'm going to love it because they're going to lose town around him. We might see the real Dak come out more. You know, like I said, listen, I hate the Cowboys, but Dak Prescott did play pretty good this offseason. Is he better than Carson Wentz? I don't believe so. Nope. But he played better than what I thought. He has a lot of ammo over there, don't get me wrong. But I think he did all right. They're still trash, though. Greek Warrior 5373. My bad. My bad. Linebacker and safety should be addressed through the draft. I agree. 100%. I agree. Cashface, Ayuk. Yeah, I like Brandon Ayuk. He's a playmaker too. He finishes runs like a runner back. I believe he will be there in the late second, early third round as well. Texas Eagle, Devin Duvernay. Yeah, good names. Greek Warrior, late wide receiver sleeper for me is KJ Hill. Way better than Hamler. Yeah, Hamler got some stuff. Hamler's hands ain't that great, but the dude can fly. But two things. He got to work on his hands, and he got to work on just getting bigger. The dude is like 176 pounds. You thought Deshaun Jackson was little coming into the league? He's littler than him. Cash raise. Brandon Ayuk is going to be a beast in the NFL. He's kind of a T.O. He is. He is T.O.ish. Like I said, he get the ball in his hand. He finishes the yards after the catch like a runner back. You know, T.O. had that long arm, that long stiff arm. And you know, he was just hard to take down once you give him a little slant. He has that in him as well. I do like Brandon Ayuk. He's a little bulldog. I can see the T.O. in him. And, you know, when you have that, people got to press up on you, and then it's easier to beat you down the field because they got to press up because they're scared of you getting the ball in your hands only 3 yards deep because you might do some TO stuff. Kevin Curran, which non-roster invite infielder and outfielder do you think will make the Phillies roster out of camp? That's rough because, like I said, I haven't been looking at the guys who are on the bubble. I'm gonna start looking at the guys who are on the bubble. Right now, I'm still looking at them bigger names, but I'm gonna look at the guys on the bubble and get back to you though. Definitely. Cash face. Littleton is nice. Yeah, I like Corey Littleton. I think he would be the perfect fit. A cover linebacker. We can use a cover linebacker because, you know, it's a passing league. And the Eagles' front four has been tough against the run. And they're going to continue to be tough against the run. When Nigel Bradham went out, I mean, we had Nathan Gary, who's a underweight linebacker who filled in pretty good, and we still was able to stop the run. We gotta stop the bleeding when it comes to the pass. Corey Littleton can play the run, can really play the pass. I would love Corey Littleton. Oh wow, I've been letting a lot of these go. All right, let's start knocking these questions out quicker. Let's get to Greek Warrior. Who are you eyeballing for the #1 pick? What is your pick? I'm going Henry Ruggs. If for some reason he is there at 21, automatically take him. If he's lingering around 16, 17 and we can move up, I would do that. If not, I'm thinking Grant Delpit. I'm really thinking Grant Delpit if he's not there. And then go in receiver second round and then a linebacker third round. Okay, why is this not doing okay? Elijah Thorne, Rock Morton. Zach Brom, name being thrown around, linebacker, 12 sacks. Yeah, I saw LB, Philly 500 draft thing. LB came in and says Zach Brom. Again, this guy's going to have to be picked in the first or second round, I think. Maybe he might fall a little bit back into the second-ish. But dude's a baller. 12 sacks for a linebacker, knows that he can blitz the passer. You can use that to help a pass rush. He kind of solved two things with one stone, The pass rush needs to be addressed. Not fully addressed, but we need help a little bit because no matter what, we got big names, Brandon Grahams, Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, but the pass rush last year suffered. So we have to do something. You get a linebacker who's probably a good linebacker and can rush the passer, you help. You kill two birds with one stone. Greek Warrior. You like Sean Brownlee from Temple or Jordan Brooks, both later picks, linebackers. I did a video, I think late third round pick, you can get a guy like Troy Dye or Jordan Brooks. Troy Dye is the cover linebacker. Jordan Brooks is that big guy who's going to blow up the middle. I like Jordan Brooks. Gabriel, will Dak get... Oh, we already did that one, see I'm on. Gabriel, Jenkins can still ball. I agree 100%. He can still ball. Michael Brooks, what is going on? How you doing? What's going on with you? True BLQ. They'll give him a large signing bonus so it doesn't hit the cap. That will be good. You give him a signing bonus, he gets his money, it doesn't hit the cap. Everybody wins. It's not going to be a long-term deal because we know Malcolm is 31 years old. We need him for this year and maybe next year. True BLQ, I love that. Greek Warrior, I'm not a fan of Ruggs. He was one-on-one and didn't have the huge year he should have when you have a Judy and a Smith taking all the double teams. I think we can steal KJ Hill later, better all-around wide receiver. I respect that. Texas Eagle, we can get Duvernay in the fourth, possibly third with his performance at the Senior Bowl. I'm telling you, this kid is a pro receiver. Texas Eagle, I'm gonna do more due diligence on him. Like I said, I know him and I did see like I heard what he did in the Senior Bowl, but I'm gonna look into him because like I'm starting to really try to look at these late third, early fourth round wide receivers like the Tyler Johnson, maybe this guy. Like I want to see these, sleepers who are going to be in that late round pick who we can get to, because we could easily, if we don't go wide receiver in free agency and go linebacker, cornerback, and we leave the free agent open, we might have to double dip at wide receiver. One early-ish, one late, something along them lines. Stephen Joyce, nothing like listening to a good Eagle talk in the ER. Whoa, 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 what's going on? What happened to you? Elijah Thorne Rock Martin, never heard someone say runner back. Yes, listen, I do that on my videos, and a couple people who really know me, they always call me out on that, and then a couple people I don't know do. I know it's running back. I always try to say it, but for some reason, I was that dude too when I was younger that used to say, instead for basketball, because I played basketball, and I used to say out of balance. I know it's out of bounds. That's it. It's out of bounds. The ball went out of bounds. But I always used to say the ball went out of balance, and I always say runner backs. I don't know why I do that. I can't stop. Running backs and out of bounds. Thank you for correcting me on that, though. William Sanders. Gaddy, the wide receiver from Liberty. I seen his tape. Big, fast, and great possession hands. True sleeper. Is that Golden Gaddy you're talking about? Because people been telling me to look him up too. I've been slacking, but I gotta look him up. Catchphrase. Does Ruggs run the whole route tree? Listen, this is what I heard about Henry Ruggs. And I've watched I watched enough tape to know that this guy is probably going to break the record like a 4.2. He's very fast. They say he's Tyreek Hill. But when Tyreek Hill was drafted, if you compare Tyreek Hill to Henry Ruggs, just as draftees, Henry Ruggs is a better route runner than Tyreek Hill was. Now, Tyreek Hill had the speed, had the off-field issues that made him fall back a little bit. Then he had off-field issues in the NFL as well. But they're saying Henry Ruggs III is a better route runner than Tyreek Hill when he came into the draft. And look at Tyreek Hill now. Now, again, it's work ethic. Anybody can come in with talent and just kind of just give up. You know, you're going to need your coaching staff to be on these players, and that's where I think you need to have a good wide receivers coach, a good positional coach to put these guys where they need to be. But Henry Ruggs can do a lot. I think he can. Now, Greek Warriors said, he didn't do much with having Judy and Smith on the team. That also could have hampered him as well. The dude is fast. He's going to go down the field, and that's our biggest thing. When you're talking about possession wide receiver, you got Zach Ertz, who can get 15 across the middle. You got Dallas Goedert, who can get 10 across the middle. You got Greg Ward Jr., who can go across the middle. We need to send people down the field, especially if Alshon Jackson is not going to be able to stay healthy the whole season. But I do believe the route tree's there, and like I said, they said he was better than Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill is forming into an all-around wide receiver. Cash face with another big one. What do we do with Alshon? Real quick, I want to touch on this because, my God, Alshon. What we running about? We running around 65 minutes. My gosh. So we're going to be ending this in about 5-10 minutes. But Alshon Jeffery, at the end of the day, it's been floating around that there's a clause, like a default clause, that if he was the one, if we could prove that he was the one talking bad about the team, doing this, that, and the third, you might be able to really get rid of him without getting hit with a big penalty in the cap space. But at the end of the day, $16 million if we just release him, that's a lot. But it's going to come down to we either eat it or let him sit on IR. But he sits on the IR. He keeps that same cancer. If he is the cancer in the locker room, I'm thinking you might have to eat this 16 mil. At the end of the day, if he's the cancer and he can't get behind Carson Wentz, which I believe he most likely might be, we got to get rid of him. We got to find the most cost-effective way to get rid of him, but he shouldn't be on the roster when it comes to 2020. Mark Major, get rid of Alshon, too much money. That's what I was just talking about, Mark Major, but this is the thing. You get rid of him the way the contract's set up, we're still probably going to eat $16 million. Now, there is ways around it if we could find a trade partner. And I say if because it's going to be hard to find a trade partner who's going to want to take a guy who has a Liz Frank, who's injured, who cost a lot of money, who's going to sit on your bench and collect this paper. So it's going to be very hard. Perry Williams, hey boss, I missed the conversation. What's the info? Normally it starts with a couple topics and then pretty much I get off course. We pretty much talk whatever the chat is talking about. So right now we just talking out, throwing out some random thing. We talking a couple draft picks, a couple linebackers. We got off the Stefon Diggs talk. Now we're really talking about Alshon as we speak right now. But you know how we do. We start with the first couple things that I really want to touch, which is free agents and draft picks. We have to hit. It's important, especially with all the holes on defense now. We got to do what we got to do. William Sanders, Gaddy, the wide receiver from Liberty, real sleeper. Look into it. Definitely going to. Somebody just said that before you. I'm definitely going to look into him. I might even put him in my late videos. I want to do another wide receiver video on the later guys. Elijah Quiet. Elijah Thorpe, The Rock, more out of balance. Sounds like fun. Yeah, man, I don't know why you should say that, but it is what it is. Rock the Artist, what you think of getting... What do you think about getting Diggs? Here's my thing. The player is talented. He's very, very talented player. I'm not as worried about the diva part, even though it could come back to bite us. But here's the thing. What does it take for the Eagles to pry him away from the Vikings? The Vikings made it clear that they don't want to get rid of this guy. So if they don't want to get rid of him, remember, Amari Cooper cost a first-round pick. Last year at the trade deadline, New England had to pay a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu. So what is it going to cost to get Diggs away from Minnesota? A first? I don't think I can do it. So, again, if you're telling me second, third, something along them lines, easy. But realistically, a team that don't want to trade a player is probably going to ask for more. Diggs is a great player. If it presented itself to benefit the Eagles, of course I'll take him. I like Diggs. But I don't know what we'd be willing to give up, in a couple of days, a week or two, a report comes out that they're looking for a second or third round pick and something because they're just tired of him, sign me up. But I don't think it's going to be that easy. Kara Poole. Of course you would just make a face like that. Elijah the Rock Morton. I thought runner back was just a Philly thing to say, bro. Big from I don't know. A lot of people get on me for saying runner back. Like I said, I don't think it's a Philly thing. It's a me thing. But now, you know what I mean? There's been a couple people on here that correct me on a runner back. I say it in videos and then I get a comment. They're like, yo, great video. But what is a runner back? I'm just like, you right. Kara Poole, sorry, you may have said it earlier. Did you see the thing where Alshon talks to the media we can cut him? Yeah, that's what I was talking about a little bit. There's a thing that you can just cut him and not get hit with all that guaranteed money and all that good stuff if you can prove it was him. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to be hard. I don't know. We'll see. The Eagles probably don't. The Eagles, there's been speculation on Bleeding Green Nation and all that. The Eagles don't want him there. And it's going to come down to he's going to have to get cut. We're either going to cut him and not have to pay because we can prove something, or we might have to bite 16 mil. Perry Williams, yes, sir. Mark Major, I'd take a 6th or 7th round for Alshon. At this point, I'll give up a 7th round pick for Al. I would give Alshon and a 7th round pick just to take his money. I mean, you might have to pay a pick. Here, take a 7th and Alshon. Just keep that 16 million away from my cap. Edgar, it was nice knowing you, Alshon. Thanks for 2017, but that's all I gotta say. We need new blood. Short, sweet, and to the point. Cowboys X Factor. I heard Byron Jones wants 16 million per year, and in my opinion, he's not worth that. But he's a good cornerback, though. You said it exactly how I said it. And when I made a video, I think it was 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe almost a month ago, when the report came out that the Eagles were looking at Chris Harris Jr. and Byron Jones. I said Byron Jones is a really talented cornerback. People are not going to want him because he's a Cowboy. He's not Orlando Scandrick. He was a bum whose career was over. That's why he cried and did all that stuff. And he was a lifelong Cowboy who loved the Cowboys. Byron Jones is young. Anyways, I said that this guy's going to want top dollar corner money. And for top dollar, I'm not paying that. You know, he's not Jalen Ramsey. He's not Darius Slay in his prime. You know, he's a little older now, and I already made a video about that. I probably wouldn't do it, actually. But he's not them. He's not that. And so if I can pay him like the 10th best cornerback, yeah, but 16 million a year and what, 3 to 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years? That's big. Elijah the Rock Morton, I'm about to start saying that now. You're fine. Yeah, let's bring it out. There's no more running backs. It's all runner backs. Runner backs. Kira Poole, I was getting drunk earlier, man. Hey, it's always good to do that. Even on a Wednesday. That's how you do it. Sober up Monday, Tuesday, get drunk Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sober ups, and well, Friday you do it again. It's like an endless cycle. I'm just kidding. Caroline Carroll, we need to do the Stefon Diggs trade. For what though? What would you trade, Caroline Carroll? What would you trade for Stefon Diggs? Let me know in the comment section or in the chat. Mark Major, facts, perfect reaction for Alshon. It is. Elijah the Rock Morton. Oh, makes sense why you're out of balance. Stephen Joyce, on the radio today in Minnesota, they were saying starting price for Diggs is a 2nd and a 4th. That, to me, is yes. 2nd and the 4th, I would do it. But see, here's the thing, though. Yeah. I would really consider a 2nd and a 4th. Yeah. Kara Poole, my anniversary when me and my ex broke up. That's a great thing. Caroline Carroll, trade a 4th round with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Alshon Jeffery. That would be lovely. But I don't think Minnesota is not going to take a guy who couldn't remember routes, maybe could be good later in his career. Maybe. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I'm not going to hold my breath, though. But I'm going to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt just because he's an Eagle. But a guy who couldn't remember his routes, Alshon Jeffery, who is injured for all the way up to the middle of the season and costs a lot of money, and a fourth. I just don't see them doing that. Again, if the trade is not out of this world, I really would consider bringing in Stefon Diggs because he's a very talented wide receiver. But it got to be a not out of the world trade. Remember, like I said, and Stephen Joyce is from Minnesota. So if he heard on the radio, it's starting around a second and fourth, then I'm more interested in. I'm really interested, and I'm going to do more research, Stephen. So thank you for letting me know that. But I just remember the Atlanta Falcons asking for a second-round pick to Bill Belichick and the Patriots for Mohamed Sanu. If this man costs a second, hey, if you're going to say second and fourth, hey, it is what it is. Then maybe he's causing a little bit too much trouble in Minnesota. I don't know. Perry Williams, I'll trade Alshon and Nelson Aguilar and a third round for Julio Jones because I don't want to be Atlanta. You know we need a big target, not whack receivers. Hey, we get a guy like Julio Jones with Carson Wentz. My God, the league will be put on notice. Elijah the Rock Morton, drinking on Mondays, perfect hangover cure. Yup, I ain't mad at it. Abel Torres, trade a second and Alshon for Diggs. Again, I think trading Alshon is going to, people think adding Alshon is going to help the situation. I think it's going to make the situation worse. Again, that means a team is going to take on a guy who's almost 30, a guy who won't play into the middle of 2020, and when he comes back, for a receiver who uses his foot a lot, well, every player uses his foot, but stop, start. That Liz Frank at 30 years old. See, other people get lit, like Jalen Mills had a Liz Frank, I think. He's young, in his 20s. 30 years old, Liz Frank won't be there until the middle of the 2020 season and costs like a boat loads of money. So the team's cap is going to be smashed. He don't play for 8 games. Foot injury. I think it's going to put a second-round pick is probably more enticing than second and Alshon. That's the seriousness of how are we going to get rid of Alshon. But Abel Torres, hey, I would love it. I really would. William Sanders, how he needs to knock this draft out of the box or we are going to be set back. Hey, that's 100% perfectly said. This is a very important draft and a very important offseason because of the money we have and the draft picks we have. We're not always going to have this much cap space, and we're not going to have 10 picks every single year. 2/3, 3/4, 2/5. We need to hit. Perfectly said, William Sanders. Carapool, I don't know if anybody would take Alshon, but yeah, I agree. Give him and a 7th round up. Hey, yeah. Mark Major, heck yeah. And throw in Alshon for Diggs. Carapool, bye Felicia. My 4-year-old son says that. Victor Wanamaker, Whiteside and a 3rd round pick for Diggs. Woo! I mean, hey, if you guys can get Minnesota to sign on the dotted line, I'm for all that. Abel Torres, trade them a 2nd and a 4th round pick. Stephen Joyce is one of the guys who are in the chat. He is an Eagle fan, staying strong, but he is from Minnesota, and he said on the radio that they are starting at a 2nd and a 4th round pick. Now, if you're saying a 2nd and a 4th round pick, Abel Torres, Stephen Joyce, my ears are wide open. My ears are open. See, Stephen Joyce from Philadelphia, been here 11 years. Stay. But there you go. We need you there right at the right moment. You're in Minnesota 11 years, but you were meant to go there to find out all the information we can about Stefon Diggs. It's up to you to let us know what the dealio is so we can bring him into Philadelphia. Thank you, Stephen Joyce. I'm just playing. Mark Major, very important offseason indeed. 100%. Carson Wentz this window is still the Super Bowl champions. The window is still open with all this capital, when it comes to money and draft picks, we can reset. Listen, remember, last offseason, what were all the TV shows saying? Undisputed. First things first. First take. What did they say? They said that the Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. Why? Carson Wentz, Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffery. So just because we had Carson Wentz, two good receivers, a good tight end, a good runner back, a decent defense, we're contenders. Well, Carson Wentz, we can free agency and draft, get good wide receivers. Deshaun Jackson back, took a whole year off, should be healthy. Miles Sanders, runner backs, the defense, all these picks and 8 free agency movements to get this defense better. We should be a contender. Simple, simple. Carson Wentz drugged this team with 3 practice squad wide receivers, a practice squad runner back who played a lot, and a practice squad tight end who filled in for slot receiver. Did all that. Got to the playoffs. So, don't put it past them. Give them some weapons, we'll be all right. The Rock Artist, how he owes us. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Carpool, your 4-year-old son. Oh, wow. Why jump like that? Your 4-year-old son is a boss. Yeah, he says that word too. He's a trip. He's a trip. He's funny. He's really funny. Elijah the Rock Morton. Settling the Jeffrey thing is the best thing for the Eagles fans and help how we focus on other things like the draft and free agency. That's true. The quicker we deal with this situation, the more we can move on to the things that we need to pay 100% attention to. Careful, Steven got some homework. Yeah, he does. Mark Major, like the... Oh, yeah, Mark Major, like, support. Appreciate it. Listen, we got 28 people in here right now. Real quick, you don't even have to you don't have to click off too much. You just click the live chat, click that like button, and then come back to the live chat because we almost done anyways too because I'm at 81 minutes. Woo! You know what time it is. No, I'm just kidding, but that's what I'm about to do in a little bit. William Sanders, too much talent on wide receiver, DB, and safety. How we can't miss. It's too much talent and get younger. You're right, but I wouldn't put him past him. But I'm gonna trust Howie this time. I'm gonna trust him. Carpool, oh yeah, everyone exit out of here live chat. Hit like, then rejoin live chat. I mean, it's not exiting the live chat. It's just clicking the button off, clicking the like button, and then coming back. You're not like exiting out of the whole. Anyways, don't hit it then. I'm just kidding. Stephen Joyce, got it. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, though. But anyways, like I said, it's way past the hour mark. I only wanted to be on here for 1 hour. I had my subjects in the beginning for the first 25 to 30 minutes, talk about what I want to. I let the chat take me to wherever we're going to be taken, wherever we're going to be brought to. And we got brought. We talked about Alshon. We talked about the draft. We talked about free agency we need to hit. I'm going to be having a lot of videos coming out about free agency, certain positions. We're going to break down more positions in free agency, linebackers included, cornerbacks. We can't forget them. Just because the linebacker situation is here, we can't forget about looking at Logan Ryans and James Bradbury's and all these other guys. And the draft, the sweet, sweet draft. But like I said, March 16th, free agency officially opens. But March 18th starts the line for the next season. So that's when you can do. So March 16th, you can start chit-chattering, calling people up and saying, yo, 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 let's be a Philadelphia Eagle, blah, 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 blah. And March 18th is when it starts. You can actually sign on a dotted line. I'm going to read a couple more questions, and then I'm out. Mark Major, good show, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the support. Love it. Perry Williams, this is Carson Wentz's last season to prove himself, or he got to get Philly special he got to go get Philly special statue outside the stadium until he proves himself and win the Super Bowl. Go Nick Foles. Hey, I'm always going to love Nick Foles for what he did, but Carson Wentz, we'll see. Jose G. Torres traded second and a fourth for Diggs, sign Anderson. Love it. Elijah, The Rock Morton, most definitely looking forward to your vid. Stay up. Much love. Appreciate you, bro. Nick Foles is warming a bench for Uncle Rico for 88 mil. That's true. Greek Warrior, Wentz won't be able to handle Diggs' diva attitude, and they want much. He will want a ton of money. Would be a big headache. He doesn't fit our culture or chemistry. Big words, big words. Victor Wanamaker, why the Eagles try to trade Alshon for a linebacker? Hey, why not? But at the end of the day, like I said, I think it's going to be a real struggle to trade Alshon because of that price tag and the injury status. Rico, I know what you meant, Careful. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching and all the constant support. I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. You guys know what time it is. Appreciate you guys so much. But like I said, you know what time it is. We out.